Victoria Azarenka, cool as the other side of the pillow. I'm your host, Good Energy. I give you the rundown on tennis coverage every day. Victoria Azarenka finds herself here after taking out Sakri again. That's right. She's taking on Samnez, and this match was very fast. Headband, check. Wristband, check. Now, listen, I've said this in the past. I'm the type of tennis player I always have to have my headband and my wristbands, much like Big Foe, right? Now, not only does it help control your sweat, but if you start to sweat profusely, you have the wristbands where you can just wipe the sweat away when you can't get to your towel. But it also becomes like a mental thing. You know, once you start wearing the wristbands, I'm telling you guys how this stuff works. You start to think they give you powers. And now they kind of, once they get a little sweaty, they start to kind of get a little heavy on your wrist. And it kind of, in my opinion, it kind of feels like it gives me more support just controlling the racket, because it's like a little heavy towel on your wrist once you get all sweaty and stuff. I like them. I love the headbands and the wristbands, but a lot of the ladies wear the headbands because it keeps their hair in place. You know, Sakri just uses like a ton of hairspray, but a lot of the ladies, they wear the wristbands to keep their hair from blowing, in their eyes while serving and playing. But Victoria Azarenka looks darn good. She's going to take on the winner of Kudermetova and Rybakina next. Samnez, great tournament. We'll see you next time out. But I want to talk about Ons, the best shot maker in the world, ladies and gentlemen. She takes the first set over Wang before rain. Look, the best coach in the world right there. Look, if Ons parts ways, look, I can't even imagine them two separating. But nonetheless, Wang putting up a fight here early in the second set. Ons with four double faults. Wang's got a couple herself. Both ladies struggling to get their first serves in play, and both ladies struggling to win serves. So far, 14, and hey, one of the most tenured chair umpires, very fair umpire. Both ladies struggling with break points as well. 14 break points between the two before the rain delay would postpone this match. But I want to talk about Ons, guys, okay? Ons won this tournament a couple of years ago. We saw her take out Mukova in the first round. Alicia Parks, she took to a tiebreak before beating her. And she took out Sasnovich. Coco, she defeated before, again, taking to a tiebreak. And she took out Belinda Bencic, who actually injured, I want to say she injured her foot or something, before Ons would end up winning that in straight sets. So Ons is a champion here. She plays really well here. And this is probably one of the best grass tournaments, in my opinion. They do a good job maintaining the grass here. But there's a rain delay. And I want to talk about Ons and her withdrawing from the France Olympic Games. And I really want to put things in perspective, right? So there were talks about awarding, players that play in the Olympics points. I think that just kind of fizzed out. I don't know where that's at right now. So I'm not 100% sure if they're going to give players points. I think you should. You kind of have to, because it's in the middle of the tour. It's another professional organization that's weird is the WNBA. You're going to have all of these elite players going to play for the Olympic Games, leaving their teams in the middle of the season. That's kind of weird too. I don't think they postponed the WNBA season, right? Not to my knowledge. I think they continue playing without those stars, which is kind of weird as well. I don't know, but they probably should postpone the season, but that would be weird as well. But nonetheless, Ons, if you're not familiar, guys, she made the WTA finals the last two seasons, right? In Texas and last year in Cancun. And she's had some really, really solid seasons. But right now, it seems like the injuries have kind of got to her. If we take a look at the current race to the finals, it's very interesting, guys, right? So we know Iga right now, she's in a class all by herself with 7,000 points. Sabalenka second with 4,400 points. Rybakina's third with 4,000 points. Then it drops down where Coco's next with 3,200 points. She's fourth in the race to the finals. Then Pegula's fifth with about 3,000 points. And then we have Danielle Collins, 2,900 points. Queenwin, 2,200 points. Big drop off there. And then we have Yelena Ostapenko. Right? Oh, did I forget? Not Pegula. I'm sorry. Why? I'm thinking in the overall standings. Polini, she's behind Coco with 3,000 points. But in terms of Elena Ostapenko, she's that last spot at number 8 with 1,960 points. Ons is 29th now in the current race to Saudi Arabia with 979 points. Now, if she were to go to the Olympics, that's possibly, not only is she switching back from, she's going from grass back to clay and then have to go get ready for hard. I feel if she doesn't have a good run at the Olympics, just the dedication, the planning and preparation to be there, it's going to kind of affect her schedule, right? Because during the time of the Olympics, we're going to have DC going on, Washington, DC, where Coco's the reigning champion there. Coco's not going to be able to play that tournament. So Coco's going to lose 500 points, right? Now, in terms of the race to the finals, that's not going to affect her, but it will affect her in the overall yearly standings, right? But she'll lose 500 points. Say someone like Ons plays that tournament and wins it, because you're going to have a lot of the top stars. They're not going to be in these tournaments. So, and that's a great opportunity. Remember the last Olympic Games, we had a lot of players playing these tournaments, gaining points. So let's say Ons plays DC. She wins that tournament. There's a good chance she's going to have to win these tournaments because she's going to be the main straw, the main draw, the main star there. So she wins DC, that's 500 points, right? That's going to help. Now, I'm not talking about Wimbledon because she has a lot of points to defend at Wimbledon in terms of her yearly standings, but in terms of the race to the finals, if she does well at Wimbledon, none of this will matter, which is me. Personally, she gave the reason for not wanting to play the Olympics. It's health reasons. She's had knee issues the last couple seasons, and she doesn't think her medical advisors don't think it's a good idea switching back and forth between the surfaces, which that's her reason. So that's the fact that she gave. But I'm looking at it from this angle where strategically, if she really wants to be in Saudi Arabia, how can she position herself for the best possible outcome? And that's going to be being available to play more tournaments. So let's say she plays DC and wins that. That's 500 points. And again, we're not talking about Wimbledon because that could change this whole outcome, right? Because she's a very good grass player. Ons literally wins 80% of her grass matches for her career. She's solid. So I do expect her to have a deep run at Wimbledon regardless. But we have DC. Then we have the National Bank Open in Toronto. That's another 1,000 event. A lot of these stars will just be getting back from the Olympics. They're going to take a break, unless a lot of them have early exits. If they're bounced out in the first round, then they could probably play this tournament. Let's say Ons does well there in Toronto. That's going to help. Let's say she plays the Western and Southern Open, another 1,000 event. She goes deep there, and we're talking about for her to pick up points, she's going to have to make it to at least the quarterfinals. The round of 16, she's just not going to pick up enough points. But at least the quarterfinals, she's going to have to make in these master events to really gain points, right? And then there's Monterey. There's another 500 event. Then we head into the U.S. Open Slam. She does well there, which I think she will, but she's got to go deep in these draws to the quarterfinals. She'll have the opportunity to pick up more points. Tunisia, they're having another 250. She's going to play there. Then the tour is going to hit Asia, where things get really, really interesting, guys. There's a lot of tournaments. We have Beijing. We have Wuhan, right? We have Tokyo. We have a couple tournaments in Seoul. We have Mexico. There's going to be a couple 500 events. There's a lot of tournaments left. And I do feel that if she commits to the Olympics, that could really affect the North American leg of the tour to where she could put herself at a disadvantage from gaining ground. She's ranked 29th in the race to the finals with only 979 points. She needs to be available to play these tournaments. And I do think with all the stars, I do expect the Igas, the Rabakinas, the Cocos, the Pellinis, the Pegulas, the Collins. I expect those players to do well at the Olympics, and I expect them to go deep enough to where as the tour is ongoing on North America, they will miss these tournaments. So Ons will most likely be the top seed in these tournaments as long as she does well at Wimbledon. She can pick up points because you have to understand with all of these ladies, especially when the tour hits Asia, they're all going to be playing in these tournaments. They're going to be well aware of the race to the finals. And it's very simple. When you're ahead of someone in rankings, All you have to do is win more than they do. Go further than them, and you will gain points, as well as factoring in how well they did last year, So you can gain them on the yearly rankings. If they're eliminated early, they'll lose points. So it's simple. Win and you're in. So I think she's considering that everyone should be healthy for the Asia part of the tour, and it's going to be neck and neck. How can she jump ahead? The North American leg of the tour. And this is why I truly think Ons is skipping the Olympics, because I think that, and this is my opinion, everyone's entitled to their own, clay is a lot easier on your joints than hard. So to skip clay, and not necessarily skip clay, but to avoid going back to clay and jump to hard, hard is very tough on your joints. And Danielle Collins actually came out and said this, last month. She made it clear. She said, I love clay because it's so easy on your joints. When you're playing so long for so many years on hard, it really wears you down. And I can tell you that personally, hard destroys your knees. So, but that's what her advisors advise her. I personally think it's a strategic move, just making herself available for a couple more tournaments where these stars most likely won't be there. She'll be the top seed. She can win these tournaments. She'll be right back in the mix where she belongs. Now, in terms of the yearly rankings, right? In terms of what was accomplished last year, Ons is, look, she's right in the mix where she deserves to be, right? We all know Iga's #1 with 11,000 points. Coco's the only next player on tour with at least 8,000 points year over year, right? She's ranked #2. Sabalenka's ranked #3. She's a couple hundred points behind Coco with 7,800. Elena Rybakina is ranked #4 with 6,000 points. And then, it gets a little interesting here where Pegula's ranked #5. 4,600 points. We have Marketa Vondrousova, 4,500 points. And listen, guys, I do not think Marketa is going to make the yearly finals again this year. And I think if she doesn't have a deep run at Wimbledon, she's just going to plummet. And I said she's the only one that really concerned me in this current top 10 of staying there. I just don't think she can stay there. But, if we take a look at Queenwin, right? She's #8. She's got points there, 4,000. Sakui's got 3,900. And then we got Ons with 3,700, right? She's ranked #10. So she's hanging on barely, in the yearly rankings at #10. And she's only 12-11 on the year. So she has struggled early on. And I just think that her having the opportunity to play more matches on hard with these stars overseas, it's a great opportunity to pick up possibly 500 points in DC. If she wins the National Bank Open, she could pick up another 1,000 points. If these stars aren't in those two tournaments, I think Ons has a great opportunity to pick up 1,500 points. And where does that put her? That puts her right in the mix, guys. She's going to be right there at #7 in terms of the race to the finals. Tennis in a Minute. I'm your host, Good Energy. Stay tuned for more tennis coverage. We'll be back.